I would like to invite Dr. Rinkel Jindal, Divisional Head, Global Regulatory Compliance, Apollo Tyres, to give a brief presentation on this EPR implementation process.
Due to the policy times to provide us the opportunity to present our sustainability journey, and thanks to the organizer. So what I will do, there are lots of questions has been raised in the first session when the policy maker, Mr. Anand Kumar, the Patrick was talking about the global perspective of the regulation on end of life tire. And now Dr. Raj Kumar has talked about the sustainability approach and all. Summit, it was on sustainability. So currently everybody talk about this EPR regulation, and they are talking about it's only on EPR and all, but the focus is more on sustainability. So I will talk more on how we are working to take this opportunity from linear to circular, what work already we have done in Apollo, and what are the work we are trying to do it in next few years. So I will go a little bit faster because since I've been allotted now 5 minutes only. So looking at the principle, what is mainly on collection, logistic and recycle, what Patrick also talked about, there are 3 policies worldwide, starting with the free market, where he talked about in Germany. And the second policy, we talking about the EPR. But here, the difference between EPR in Europe and EPR in India is in EPR in Europe, the responsibility with the producer is more to manage the tires, where the collection, logistic is a big challenge. But in India, thanks to this recycling industry, we do not see any challenge currently, but with the policy to look at the quantum of the EPR certificate need to be generated, in that case, maybe we required to support in terms of collection and logistic. And the third approach is the government, where government will take the responsibility. They will charge some tax on the sale of tire, and then the government will take the entire responsibility to manage the life cycle of the tire. Side is like what is having lots of regulation on ELT, whether it's a tax model or free market or EPR. In 2018, India do not have any policy as such, although there was, when they have presented this data, it was a surprise for us. In India, if you look at the recovery rate, it's almost 98% of the tire has been recovered. So there was no landfill, no such issues, and then followed by Europe, which is 92%. So you can see without policy also, thanks to the recyclers, we have a sufficient amount of recovery of ELT. That's why we don't see any landfill and all in India. So now I will talk about more on sustainability, because Dr. Rajkumar has raised a couple of questions to the industry that, okay, everybody is talking about sustainability, but how they are adopting it in their life cycle of the product, how they are defining their targets, and how they are measuring their targets. So I will talk about, I will just try to reply some of the questions so that audience will also understand that the sustainability journey is not on end of life tire, but it will start from the redesign of the tires also. So in Apollo, we usually work with the 6R model, so which start with replace. So we are looking for the sustainable raw material so that we can replace it with the unsustainable raw materials. Then we were working with the reduce. So it's reduce means we are working in the industry also to reduce the waste and optimize the consumption of materials. Redesign of the tires, which I will talk about some of the concepts projects also which we have done, and recycles recover material after the end of life tire, then reuse it in the tires. So I will talk about that also in detail. So quickly just talk about what is the reduce, reuse and redesign. So the objective is very clear. We need more energy efficient tire, lightweight tire, which can deliver high performance. The latest regulation which is coming on the star labeling regulation on tires. So we are proud to mention that we are the first tire company to achieve 5-star label on passenger car vehicles and LCV tires as per the Bureau of Energy Efficiency program. And the market is evolving, and we see that the government is also pushing for electric vehicles. So we have looking at the market demand and the situation. So we have introduced electric vehicle tires, which are specific for passenger vehicle and two-wheelers. And earlier, maybe I will say 1 decade back, everybody talk about the bias tire in truck and bus. And then the India was shifting to the radialization. So we take part in that journey, and we are leading the market share, and which is saving the fuel for customer as well as the country also. So in the current policy also, right now there are 3 different stakeholders. One is producer, second is recycler. The third is also this, which is retraders. Right now, nobody is talking about the retraders because they also play a very important role. So here, if we look at what is the role of retailer in terms of EPR policy, so they will help us to shift our EPR target because they are expanding the life of the tire. So in that regime also, Apollo has done aggressive investment to increase the life of the tire. So we have Apollo retread centers all over India. And very recently, our management has launched one project called Evolve. As of now, as customer perspective, पहले क्या होता था, एक चीज बाई की उसका वेट करते थे कि कब, लेकिन जो सर्विसेबिलिटी नहीं होती थी. So what we have tried to do it, we are providing a premium service to our fleet owners by using digital tools, AI, and we are bringing with the smart tires also, so that during the lifetime of the tires, we will provide them all type of services, whether there is a change in pressure is required, lower pressure is there, we will help them that send a notification to the driver or the fleet owner that you need to increase the pressure or you need to change the tire, you need to rotate the tire, so that what is the advantage? The fleet owners will get 10 to 15% advantage in terms of lifetime. So coming back to the recycles, so what we are doing, so this is not our commitment, it's a top management commitment. If you look at the carbon neutral by 2050, so our PM mission is to have India by carbon neutral by 2070. So we have taken a very aggressive target to make it Apollo by 2050. And the second on sustainable raw materials, so our target is 40% by 2030. So these are the targets, but the question is what action we are doing towards this commitment. So we have a forward-looking approach. So we have recently done a collaboration with a Canadian-based organization, Tyre. And recently we have showcased our recycled material tire for passenger car vehicles and agriculture. We use the 70% of the materials which is coming up from the recycled. And we have a separate vertical we have set up in R&D because this policy, the end of life tire or the EPR obligation, it provides us an opportunity to work with the recyclers to improve their quality and incorporate all these materials into our tires. So we are looking for that opportunity. That's why we have a separate vertical has been set up in R&D. And it's not like we are doing it. We are asking our suppliers also to work on sustainability. And this is one of the examples that for our European plant right now, 100% natural rubber sourcing is for a company which is committed to new sustainability guidelines. So this is my last slide. So this is the summary of what I was talking, the circular economy roadmap. So policy came last year, but as a Apollo, we are working on this from the last 8 years. Different steps has been taken as a CSR responsibility. We will set up the grounds also, parks also by using the current rubber materials and all. And then we, as a forward-looking approach, we are collaborating with a recycler. Tyre is one of the example you can see. So we have collaborated in that. So our guideline principle from the management is very clear. Use maximum amount of recycled, reclaim, and renewable raw materials. And we are encouraging our suppliers also, our partners also, to use all these things and minimize the waste in their plant manufacturing processes also. This is from my side. Thank you.